Well, hello friends, Joseph here. Welcome back to some Midrange Paladin, as it looks like we are in a little bit of trouble as we have run into our friendly neighborhood elemental shaman who seems to be curving out reasonably well against us. Got a little bit lucky with that true silver drop. Our opponent hasn't done anything other than what we've already shown. Firefly, Jade Claws, and that Tar Creeper that we just took out. We are here playing a Midrange Murloc Paladin variant. There are quite a few floating around right now. We're going to go ahead and flood the board right now with tokens because that will probably simply draw out removal from our opponent, but we're totally okay with it. But I mean by removal is of course AoE removal. And I'm totally okay with that right now because we got a whole bunch more minions to play out and flood the board with. And maybe we're getting lucky and be getting a relatively free trade here. Although there are quite a few results here that would actually be bad for us. This is okay. This is one of the more okay turns for us right now. Feel like we're attacking into the 3-5 every single time. And now we're going to have questions of how much power do we want on board versus how wide do we want to go. And I think we kind of want a little combination of both. We'll go ahead and discover something big. Sunwalker is definitely going to be the best choice here. And then we're going to coin out Ascension. Not because it's necessarily that strong right now, but simply because it's going to fit well with our plans for the coming turns. We do have two Golakka Crawlers in the deck, basically as our anti-aggro tech, which honestly might be a little overkill, but that's okay. We also have the Repentance lined up for next turn very nicely with the Spike Ridge Steed, which is going to let us punch through the 2-4. That's kind of actually scary because Dust Devil has potential to do terrifying things, although it is 2 overload. So our opponent's kind of sitting in the not the best situation. Obviously great that we didn't Repentance into that. And now we have options. I mean, do we want to play something that will potentially eat a Hex? Maybe. Do we want to try and go a little bit wide with the Golakka Crawlers? I think that's probably bad. I like throwing down the Repentance here. And this is obviously setting us up for a bad result here with AoEs. But I think we'll be able to survive that because once again we still have a little bit of gas. There was the option to Spike Ridge Steed, but I still like the idea of throwing out the Sunwalker here. In the event that it does eat a Hex, then we can throw out the Tyrion, which is always a good time for us. And that's really good for us. Fire Elemental down to 1 health. Not that we have massive AoEs or anything like that, but it's just good to see that it kind of happens that way. Now we have some options to debate. I don't mind throwing out the Hydrologist, I don't think. Tyrion kind of just eats a Hex every single time, right? There's not much going on with our turn if that's the way we want to play this. And I'm just trying to think right now, how bad would a Hex be? It's still probably this trades and then into the Hex for the 3-1 probably hits into the Hex, breaks the Divine Shield. I'm assuming then the 6-1 trades in 4 to face. How do we come back from that? Not really sure. But we can still go ahead and throw it out. No Hex means we're in really, really good shape, obviously. We're taunted up really nicely. Instant Hex. Our opponent was waiting for it. We knew it was coming as well. But sometimes you just got to take that. Ooh, our opponent can punch through and not have to... Oh, okay. And they are going to keep their 3-1 alive. That's a very interesting choice. I mean, it is a bunch of face damage. There's no doubt about that. And there are no pirates for us to be getting any sort of value with the Golakka Crawlers off of, which is also okay. I think we're going to have to do a crazy Megasaur turn and hope something happens here. Oh, or unless we just get Bloodlusted down this coming turn, actually. Oh, that's probably more likely. So we're going to need to do something with this. So we're going to go 6, 2, and then a big taunt here. And hope that we don't get Hexed the second time. If we do get Hexed the second time, we probably lose for sure. And sometimes, you know what, that's the way she goes. But if it does survive, well, then we're kind of in business. Because that Spiked Ridge Steed is really, really powerful in terms of what it does. It's basically a targetable And this is okay for us, to be honest. We removed quite a bit of our opponent's board. Set up another big taunt for us. Obviously unfortunate that we weren't able to get any extra Murlocs on board so we could have a little bit of extra power with the War Leader, but that's okay. We're not going to be able to punch through here easily. That's for sure. I don't think we're going to want to do this right now. Minion dies. We don't really want that. We'll take a Noble Sack, that's for sure. Let's see what we can get here. +3 health, stealth. We'll take the summoning. We'll take a Noble Sack. Do we want this to attack? Probably not. We'll just go ahead and wait now. Obviously, there's a good chance that we get hit with a bad AoE right now. We definitely would have wanted to have tried to pull one out earlier. Consecration could have been actually reasonable to take out a few minions here, but punching through the 3/5 would have been, I think, relatively poor trade for us. And now with this big taunt and then the double death rattles, it seems like our opponent's going to have to use quite a few resources. Now significantly less resources, that's for sure. Haha, this is now looking pretty bad. And that Noble Sack really has potential to do a little bit of work for saving us. Obviously, this is a whole lot of damage to face. And at least it's not going to be a Bloodlust one-turn killing, which is always a nice thing to be seeing. And I guess the major saving grace that we have here is the fact that we do have quite a bit of healing, actually, in our deck. Is Equality Consecrate the best thing? How badly do we need to save that? Equality is really how we're going to debate this. We still have 1 damage here, a bunch there. It's going to be Equality Consecrate, obviously, leaving us a very weak after the fact. At least in terms of getting ourselves AoE'd. But I still think that's obviously the play that we need to make. And the fact that we have just lots and lots of really, really good top decks available to us is, I think, what's going to keep us in the game. Oh, that's a whole bunch of damage. If there's another Flame Tongue, we'll just lose right away. Oh, that's really, really interesting. Not doing any sort of face damage. Is this any sort of lethal? This is 4. This is 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. And that's how you pull out a surprise lethal from a game that I think we were behind quite a bit overall in this matchup in terms of curving out. But I like to think that this deck does match up well against other mid-range style decks in terms of the resources that we have overall. Okay, so we're now in a little bit of a poor situation with our priest friend here, getting a... we'll take a Noble Sack in this situation. Our priest is getting off an early Northshire Cleric, which could potentially put us in a bad spot if they're able to get some buffs going here. If all they're doing is healing, well then we're in a very good situation because we're going to get our Murloc buffs going. Best top deck is the Inquisitor. And that's completely okay for us. I think the thing that we are the most scared of right now is definitely going to be a Silence Priest. It's not a Quest Priest. This card was mulliganed, and I don't think Quest Priests could ever afford to mulligan their quest and still have any sort of reasonable expectation of a positive result. I'm willing to True Silver here. I think the True Silver is going to be more valuable just to have a little bit of pressure on board, and that our opponent also knows that no matter what they do, our True Silver is going to probably be able to remove it, combined with the fact that we do have a little bit of a board. So I think that's a better play than using the Rock Pool Hunter buff and trade there. And then it also uses our mana a little bit efficiently. Hero Power Pass is okay. We're still looking for Vilefin Inquisitor. Still not getting it. We'll just attack in, doing very, very minimal damage right here in the middle stages of this game. We're not too worried about that. I think we have a reasonable hand. That's going to be bad if it's just a board clear. Oh, this is actually very reasonable now. Oh, this is unfortunate for our opponent, that's for sure. So now we have some options of how we want to be playing this. The Aldors, I think we're going to keep. I don't know what this is going to be. I'm expecting it to be some sort of Lyra Priest. So what I really like the idea of doing is buffing this up to 4 attack so it can't get killed easily. And then our 4 plus another 4 is going to be a little 1 attack power of overkill. But it still really sets up nicely because not many priests are going to be able to remove this too easily. There's no more Shadow Word Pain Death action that can happen to remove our Rock Pool Hunter. So we're going to get to trade into it to hopefully guarantee our Death Rattle. Oh, and maybe this is a Silence Priest, which to be honest with you is scary. We did say about a minute ago that we were the most worried about Silence Priest, and I think that still stands true. We still need to remove this. And the best thing is the fact that we have now our Rock Pool Hunter to help us combo a little bit with that. Ooh, how close are we? Kind of actually close. So we'll punch that down again for attack. I am tempted to Aldor just for tempo, but I think Hero Power is going to be just as good. I don't know what type of board clears these Silence Priests are currently running, to be honest with you. The decks generally are more board. Oh boy. Discovering how much mana are they at? They're at 8. So if they do have a board clear, they can just blast us with the Holy Nova now. Oh, wow. Really looking for Cycle. So that's really good. Consecration. How close to lethal are we? This is going to be 4 plus 3 is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16... 17, 18. That looks like lethal to me. Let's make sure we get the 4 damage in first. Everyone else gets buffed. And we don't have enough mana. But I still think that was the reasonable play. I don't know why I thought I would have 10 mana on turn 8. But I still think that was reasonable to set our opponent to 1. Simply because we're going to have... Oh, Purify. I mean, I guess there is a chance we actually get comboed out right now, except for the fact that Noble Sack is a great counter for what's about to happen. Faceless Shambler, that's okay. And that is just simply not enough. And it looks like, you know what, we called the Consecration last turn, so Consecration still would have won the game if it wasn't for the fact that we had too much pressure on that priest for them to really be able to handle us there. Okay, and it looks like we are getting what potentially is the perfect curve against what I'm expecting to be some sort of hybrid hunter who played the Jeweled Macaw to start the game. Their generated card here is their second card right now. It's kind of terrifying. That's really, really upsetting. But we will be able to punch through that luckily with the coin. So I was planning on just playing the Rock Pool Hunter, but +1/+1 is not enough. We will be able to coin out the War Leader and punch in for the kill now. This is not going to be an easy minion for our opponent to remove, although I guess they do have their... whatever the hunter bow is. I forget the name of it right now, to be honest with you. Ooh, that's unfortunate. We're hoping for something not great. I don't know what that could be. +1/+1. And that's okay, because we're going to get our own sets of +1/+1s right now. And this is just going to allow us to basically maintain tempo with whatever our opponent plays here, which is good. We're maintaining our own board. And now we have the True Silver Champion in hand to be able to deal with whatever gets played. That's not something that we would True Silver Champion, that's for sure. So we'll probably just Galactic Crawler. Oh. We will definitely just Galactic Crawler. Which one has the battle cry? We'll get rid of this one here. Not that it makes too much of a difference. I didn't want to consecrate there. I think that's a little bit of a premature consecration. And especially right now that we have 2 separate. Oh, that's unfortunate. Now we're really not in a good situation. This is 4, 5, 6, 7. Obviously not what we wanted to have done there. We're going to keep the Murloc alive, actually. We are going to make sure that we keep the Murloc alive instead of the Beast. And we'll get rid of the other Unleash. It will be interesting to see now what our opponent does in terms of... I mean, if they have Savannah Highmane, it obviously gets played and that trade gets made. This now becomes a very, very scary situation for us. And the question is now, how badly do we need to get rid of Savannah Highmane? And I think we really need to, because we don't have any answers. Like, if we had Aldor, we could do other creative stuff, but I think we just simply need to kill it, unfortunately. And we're going to play the Galactic Crawler. because we need some sort of board presence that maybe our opponent won't want to be trading in with now. We definitely would have wanted to have gotten the Spiked Ridge Steed out the turn before, but I think we needed to maintain board presence there, which I think is really the game plan whenever you're playing these mid-range hunters or hybrid hunters or however you really want to be categorizing them as, because we do have, oh boy, let's hope it's not something great. Oh, that's a lot of power. Although Spike Ridge Stegodon should be able to do a little bit of work for us, that's good. I don't think it's going to really be enough. All our opponent needs is... we leave 4 power on board. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 minus 4 is going to be 5. If there's no hard removal, I think this is the best play. And I think that still means that is the best play. Obviously, next turn, I think we are going to need a little bit of luck that our opponent kind of misses. Oof. The randomness here is just scary. Okay, that's maybe fine. Uh-oh. Oh, that is awful for us. That is the worst potential result. I don't see how we come back from this now. Still can't clear the board, which is unfortunate. This looks like it's just game over. Is there anything we can get, though? Let's take a quick look, and let's just think really quickly. I guess Noble Sack saves us for 1 turn. So we'll do it, although there's obviously just great potential for lots of burst from our opponent's hand. And then I guess we would just need to top deck amazingly. Divine Shield, well, it stops the first attack. It's not necessarily enough. Oh. Obviously, that's not mattering. We need either Lay on Hands or Rag. Or I guess no, oh. And obviously, I forgot the whole idea, the whole fact that this is now charge. So none of that really mattered, all that planning that we were trying to do there. But that's okay. That game was, I think we kind of battled reasonably well against the mid-range hunter. They had a little bit of a smoother curve, although we had a pretty good draw as well. So we can't really fault the game going not our favor for that reason. So that's going to be all for this video. Nice 3 decent games showcasing the mid-range Murloc Paladins. We're trying to climb our way to Legend. You want to hang out with us as we continue to try and make this climb for the end of the season, feel free to hit that big old red subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Keep your stick on the ice.